Today, Insta360 released the new and improved Ace Pro 2. For those that don't know, this is a high-end action camera that competes with like the GoPro Hero 13, the Osmo Action 5 Pro. But today I'm going to be comparing it to the Ace Pro that was released last year. Now at first glance, they don't look that different, other than this little wind guard that you might notice here that I'm going to talk about later on. However, they have made some pretty incredible improvements. So I've been using the Ace Pro all year and loving it. And when I heard there was an upgrade coming, I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. So we're going to do a breakdown of what's new, what's better, and whether it's worth upgrading. Let's get into it. So first up, build quality. This thing is pretty solid. I've already dropped it a few times because I'm clumsy. Rugged. Mr. Clumsy. Honestly. I think if I'm any of the Mr. Men, this is the perfect camera for you, really, isn't it? But Insta360 has kept that rugged, durable design, so you can take it on all your crazy adventures without worrying that you're going to break it. So right off the bat, they have kept the flip-up touchscreen, like the Ace Pro had last year, but they've slightly increased the size to 2.5 inches instead of 2.4 inches. It's also slightly brighter, 6% brighter, but 70% better resolution than the Ace Pro. With this better brightness and resolution, if you're out in the sun, you're squinting to see the screen, trying to see what's going on, it's much clearer, much easier to see what you're filming, even in bright daylight. And then the folding mechanism of the Ace Pro 2 is 100% more durable than the folding mechanism on the Ace Pro. So for me, where I'm going to be using the flip screen a lot when I'm vlogging, I don't have to worry about that wearing out and damaging. Right, let's jump into what really matters, and that is the image quality. And the Ace Pro 2 has the same 1/1.3 inch sensor, same as the original Ace Pro. So if you're familiar with that, like in the Ace Pro, you'll know what you're getting with the extra sensor size, way better low light, which we can touch on a little bit later. The GoPro Hero 13, which is the new GoPro, only has a 1/1.9 inch sensor, so you can massively tell the difference in low light. I don't have one to compare, but like I said, I'm going to be comparing with the Ace Pro, which although it has the same sensor size, the Ace Pro 2 has upgraded the technology and the processing power to make even more of this sensor. First off, it shoots at 8K at 30 frames a second compared to 24 frames a second with the Ace Pro. That's much better for me. I shoot all my stuff at 30 frames a second. In my opinion, 30 frames a second just looks way better. And for those of you that think 8K is a little bit overkill, I actually do think it's pretty good for shooting those wide landscapes and cityscapes. Anytime you want to capture everything in frame and get crazy detail. And I've been using it for wide time lapses that let me then zoom in and post and shift the video without losing any quality. It keeps the footage sharp and you can really see the detail in every corner of the frame. But 8K obviously stresses the camera a little bit more, battery will be used up quicker and it can heat up. So most of the time you won't want to shoot in 8K, but I do think it's a pretty cool feature. For day-to-day shooting, I've been using it at 4K 60 frames a second in active HDR mode. This is super versatile. You get smooth motion, amazing dynamic range. It handles highlights and shadows really well. And when you're shooting against the sun or in a place where the light keeps changing and shifting, this mode keeps everything balanced. And like I said, it's great for everyday use in all sorts of conditions. There's loads of different modes, resolutions, frame rates, and ways to kind of warp or stretch the footage. But there's also some really simple presets, so you don't have to fiddle too much. And I just flick to the vlogging preset, which gives a de-warping effect on the footage, and it shoots an active HDR 4K 60. Now, where the Ace Pro really stands out for me is the low light performance. And Insta360 have upgraded their pure video mode, and this is where you'll notice a huge difference. The Ace Pro maxed out at 4K 30 frames a second, but the Ace Pro 2 now gives you 4K at 60 frames a second in pure video mode. So if you're shooting in low light, whether it's at dusk or indoors or just in a dimly lit room, you'll see way more clarity, less noise, and the footage just looks way cleaner. Now the reason for this, even though it's the same sensor size, is that they've put another AI chip, so it's a dual AI chip. The Ace Pro 2 is actually the first action camera to have 2 AI chips. So it does image processing for the noise reduction, and that means the camera can handle more complex tasks at the same time, and it does it faster. The AI is doing a lot of work behind the scenes, And especially in the low light, challenging conditions, you're going to see a huge improvement. Another huge thing that stands out with this camera is the improvement in the audio. Insta360 have made huge improvements here with the removable wind guard for when you're filming outside. So whether you're filming outside on a windy beach like we normally are, or biking, or it's just a breezy day, you're out in the city, wind noise can ruin your audio. And I had to scrap a lot of audio from my Ace Pro, especially on my moped trip down to Italy, where I was obviously in a very windy condition, and yeah, I couldn't really use any of it, unfortunately. But having this is going to be a game changer. You can actually clip this on or off depending on what you need. If you're shooting underwater, you can swap it for a mic cap to get better audio. And yeah, I've tested a few different environments. The audio is so much clearer. Plus, Insta360 have refreshed their audio algorithms. They give you 3 modes: wind reduction, voice enhancement, and stereo mode. And each one has its own use depending on what you're shooting. The voice enhancement mode really blew me away. Historically, action cams have not had good audio. Obviously, they're getting better and better, but this is a huge leap forward for me. It makes voices sound so much clearer, so much more prominent, and it's perfect for vlogging where you want to cut through that noisy environment like a busy street or crowded event. And it focuses on making your voice sound sharp, clear, and it gives your videos a much more professional sound without having to get external audio gear or record on an external mic, which you can also do. I also want to test in this kind of loud street environment the voice enhancement audio of the Ace Pro 2 versus the Ace Pro 1 kind of standard mic configuration. I don't know if it sounds a lot louder in the background with the Ace Pro 1. So the Ace Pro 2 should have clearer audio and drowning out a lot of these background noises with the bass and the humming on the street and stuff. But yeah, for me, someone that's going to predominantly be vlogging on this, it's an absolute game changer. And I think if you're mainly just using this as an action cam for like shots on a snowboard or like high speed shots, you might not care so much about the audio vocal enhancement. But for me, it's one of the best new features. Right, another favorite thing, obviously stabilization. They've always been on point with their stabilization tech. The Ace Pro 2 keeps the flow state stabilization and the 360 horizon lock from the original, which is awesome. It literally just looks like you're shooting on a gimbal all the time. And then, as you know, with 360 horizon leveling, you can flip the camera upside down all the way around. It's gonna just keep the footage looking as if you're holding the camera completely still. Still don't fully understand how that works, but it's, again, incredible. It is a bit of a gimmick for me because typically you're only going to need a little bit of horizon leveling, but in certain circumstances, full 360 horizon leveling, again, is just an incredible feature. The Ace Pro had this feature alongside a ton of the Insta360 cameras, but it just feels even more polished on the Ace Pro 2. They've also added some usability upgrades. One that I'm really into is the pre-recording mode. This is a game changer if you're shooting something where timing's important. It lets you capture up to 120 seconds of footage before you hit record. One example for this, which I haven't tested out yet, but if you're trying to shoot like a lightning storm and you're waiting, I've done this all the time with cameras where I just keep it rolling for ages, 5 minutes goes past, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna get a lightning strike. Turn off recording, and then suddenly the lightning strikes. I'm like, oh, let me try recording again. I end up with like 15, 20 minutes of footage and like 1 or 2 lightning strikes. With this, pre-recording, you could set it up as soon as the lightning strikes, hit record, capture what was essentially capturing in the background before. It is a cool feature for very specific use case examples. Another cool feature that I definitely will be using is the reverse charging feature. The Ace Pro 2 comes with a bigger battery at 1800 milliamps, which gives you 50% longer runtime than the Ace Pro. And the reverse charging means that if you're out about shooting and your phone is running low, you can actually plug your phone in and charge straight from the camera. So when you plug it in, turn the camera on, and you'll be able to select reverse charging. And again, in those emergency situations, that can be incredibly helpful. And then of course, Insta360 are keeping their magnetic mounting system from the Ace Pro, which is awesome. It makes switching between mounts so easy. I was clipping between a selfie stick and the mount on the windscreen in the car when I was shooting. And you don't have to get fiddly, like trying to unscrew mounts and stuff like that, which just takes time. I like the efficiency of the magnetic mount, which you can also lock into place so you don't have to worry about it accidentally getting hit and falling off. And yeah, it's just so much more convenient and makes the whole shooting experience way more smoother. So if you are currently looking for a high-end action camera that you can also vlog with, or something that you can vlog with that's also versatile to shoot a ton of other stuff, I honestly believe this is the best action camera out in the market at the moment. And if you already have the Ace Pro and are on the fence of whether to upgrade or not, I think if you care about image quality, getting much better low light performance and smoother shooting, better voice enhancement for the audio, it really is worth it. It isn't just a small upgrade, it is really pushing the boundaries of what an action camera can do. I still can't believe a camera this small can do so much. And if you're someone that loves capturing epic moments in the best quality possible, this really is epic. So yeah, if you're interested, I've linked it below. That's it for today's review. If you've got any questions, drop them below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. If you're interested in tech content, I've got so much coming. This is something I'm very excited and passionate about. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.